I don't have to think about it. I just want to put my money over here, forget about it, and let it double every 4 years.
Basically, with the way I'm reading it, hearing it is make your money be an employee for you. Hello and welcome to this special series. We have the Edgar and Allen Not Poe show. I'm Edgar the Connector, and my co-host is Alan Foster. And today, for Poe, we are Plan on Elevate, continuing the series on the 7 rules of wealth. So, Alan, we left off at rule 4.
Yeah, we did. I was going to ask you, Edgar, do you have rules for your wealth, or are you just going to steal mine? Just kidding.
I'm going to borrow yours. I'll give them back once I get the money to pay you for them.
You're good. No, you don't owe me a dime, man. This is just a thrill to get on these calls with you. This is really cool. So we're talking about the, I'm good. I've changed them, by the way. I was calling them principles, rules, whatever, but I want to call them commandments.
Commandments. Okay.
Commandments. We're on the 4th commandment, which is, thou shalt make thy money properly spending your money. The rest of these principles or commandments, if you will, can't be accomplished if you don't do the first 3. It just doesn't work. What are you going to multiply 0? Multiply 0 by any number and you still get 0. So the rest of this is really more of the tactical stuff. The first 3 are your basic fundamentals. That part is you have to build those habits and you have to develop those. You have to. And once you got those first 3 down, the next 4 are how you basically work off of those first 3. But yeah, we're going to talk about the 4th one today, which is make thy money multiply. Or I'm sorry, thou shalt make thy money multiply. God's words, not mine. I made it God's words. But basically, what does that mean? The money that you have been putting aside in our commandment of money number 2, which is pay thyself first. That money, when you put that aside, needs to be multiplied. And you multiply it in a lot of different ways. And in accounting, there's only 6 ways you can make money. You can make money through earnings, just trading your time for money, working for somebody else and they give you a paycheck. That's called earnings, or a W-2 earnings more correctly. You could work for yourself and it's still W-2 earnings. You could also make money through interest. You can make money through rents. You can make money through capital gains, royalties. And you can make money through, there's another one out there. I forget what it is off the top of my head. But what I'm talking about with multiply, the essential rule is you're buying assets that will deliver one of those 6 income streams. You're buying assets, dividends, that's the other one. So if you want to buy stocks, you're looking for dividends as income. That gives that stock value because that's an income stream. You want to buy bonds or do loans, they pay interest. That asset is, an income stream of interest. You could do royalties, which is payment streams on intellectual property like copyrights, book rights, things that don't, intangible assets, things you can't see and feel. Those things would produce royalties like leases or land rents. You can lease your land out or get royalties from a company leasing your land to drill for minerals or oil or something like that. And they give you some royalties from the profits. You could also do rents. You could buy real estate, collect rent. Or you can buy things and sell them for a profit. Very common in business, capital gains. But capital gains technically is considered long-term, meaning you bought something and 1 year and 1 day later you sold it, and it's considered a capital gain. If you sold it exactly 12 months later, exactly or less, that would be considered ordinary income. That's taxed differently. So as long as you understand the differences of those different income streams, that's basically what you're doing with multiply. You're buying assets that deliver one of those income streams to you. But, there are other ones too that have appreciation but don't have an income stream. A good one example would be gold, owning gold or owning silver. They don't pay you monthly to own it. It's basically a hedge against things like inflation, geopolitical risks, things like that. People like to have it because whether you like it or not, gold is considered money globally. It is treated as money. So that's basically what you're doing with that multiply. Commandment number 4, thou shalt multiply that money. So the money that you saved and your commandment number 2, that money is to be applied to one of those income streams. And they grow in value and you grow your wealth that way. But that is pretty much, that's it. You got something similar?
Like most entrepreneurs, I don't sleep enough. So the hours that I do sleep need to be of better quality. The 8 Sleep Pod, it has been a game changer for me. Perfect temperature all night, less snoring, and I actually wake up refreshed. And my wife does as well, which is a huge plus. Happy wife, happy life. You can try it through my affiliate link below. Now we go back to the episode. So excellent what you're talking about there. So make your money grow, make your money multiply. Something that isn't taught at school, isn't taught just in general at all. Basically, with the way I'm reading it, hearing it, is make your money be an employee for you.
Yes, that's actually a great analogy. I like to think of them as little soldiers, my little dollars. I send my soldiers out into the world. They fight battles for me, and they conquer other people's soldiers and bring back themselves and some additional soldiers with them to build my army of soldiers. I know that's very military, very violent sounding, but that's kind of like how I look at it. We send our money out into the world and, we put it at risk. You put your soldiers at risk. You send them in the battle. We send our money out into investment opportunities. They're at risk. You could lose some of them. You could lose all of them. Or in most cases, if you're very smart about this, those soldiers come home, those dollars come back to you along with some prisoners of war or booty, as they call it.
Yeah. Or if you're not a fighter and you want to be a lover, you look at it as sending them on vacation and your little money's making more money's coming back with a bunch of baby monies.
Yeah. I like that. On vacation. Yeah. I'm going to send my money on vacation and it's going to come back with some happier vacation ideas. I don't know. Anyway, some really good memories.
Definitely. So yeah, it's a good point there. A lot of people don't ever think about that. Reading this book up here, Buy Back Your Time, he talks about that when we first start off, the way we're trained is to become an employee. So we're trading our time for money. And as you grow, you want to trade your money for time and later on make your money, make more money. So you're trading money for money basically. And then later on, you're just trying to get freedom with all your money that's already been built with your businesses. Yeah, excellent point there. So when somebody is in their, let's say the younger age, for people that are still in high school, that maybe have little side jobs, cutting yards, selling stuff on eBay or Amazon, things like that, where should they be best place for them to put their money in?
Well, the first rule, this is a kind of a rule of the commandment. Only invest in things you understand. If you don't understand it, you're speculating, you're guessing, you're putting your money at risk. There's a good book called The Richest Man of Babylon. And you'll find a lot of my commandments is wrapped around that basis of thinking. And in the story, they're talking about a investor or money lender, actually. I can't remember, Calabab, I think his name was. He is talking about investing, and he's talking about you would not invest in jewels when your partner is a shield maker. He just doesn't understand jewels. If you don't understand the jewel trade, and he doesn't understand, or she doesn't understand the jewel trade, and he's a shield maker and you're a spear maker, there's no reason for you guys to be doing business in jewelry. You want to do business in jewelry, you get partnered with a jeweler. You find experts in that field, partner with them, or consult with them so that you understand the investment a little better. Because a lot of times, you can go to YouTube and you can find out all this stuff about real estate and how to make money. And they'll give you, you just calculate the rents, and then you subtract out the property taxes, and you subtract out the insurance. You take away the maintenance costs and the property management fees and whatever, that's your cash flow. But there's more to it than that. Every market's different. And just because you understand that doesn't mean you can go into Houston when you do all your deals in Savannah and you know what you're doing in Houston, because Houston's a different market. The government there's different. They tax differently. The process, evictions are different. There's other things that go into it that you need to understand that are costs that will happen, but you don't know what they are yet. And you have to plan for those. And the better you know how an industry works, the better you are at making an investment decision. Like I invest in gold mines, and I have to understand how gold mines make money, because if they can't make money and I can't understand it, how do I think I'm going to be able to make money off this deal if I don't even understand how they make money? And just to give you a simple example, and I'll dumb this down to the most basic things. For instance, a gold mine, the average cost to pull an ounce of gold out of the ground is about $2,100. Well, gold is trading as of today $4,600 an ounce. That's a spread of about $2,500. So that means they put up $2,100 to pull an ounce of gold out of the ground. They can sell it at market at $4. There's a spread there. And that's a very profitable situation. So as long as you understand how this asset makes money, then you can see how you can make money. And that's basically the premise of the whole multiplying your money. Don't invest in things you don't understand. And some guardrails that I put in place. This actually goes into rule number 5 or commandment number 5, but we won't get on that today. But basically, don't get involved in things that have usurious returns. They're promising you 40, 50% returns. It isn't real. And the reason it's not real is because a 50% return means they have to be making, 70, 80, 100% returns, because they got overhead to cover, and you're going to get a 50% return on this. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. Because if it was true, everyone would be doing that, and they're not. So you have to be careful. Anyone who's promising anything over 30%, be very skeptical, because that is a red flag, because you have to generate a lot of revenue and income, which is revenue minus expenses, in order to justify that kind of a return. So when you're looking at your different deals, and don't just take those numbers at face value. Oh, this one's going to pay us, 43%, and this one's going to pay us 21%, and you go with the 43. Well, with the 43% return, that's a high risk deal, and you could lose all your money or never see the guy again, or girl again, whoever you're doing business with. It could be a scam. I do have rules for passive investing and active investing. My rules for passive investing: if I cannot get an 18.75% return, I'm not interested. I don't have time, because my money has to double every 4 years. That's my rule. Everyone's going to have a different rule on how they multiply their money. My rule is I'm looking at investments passively where I can make 18.755%. 18.75% return. I think it's actually officially 18.89%. That number will produce $1,000 investment will become $2,000 inside of 4 years. And every time you put another 1,000 in every 4 years, if you're following those multiples, your money will double every 4 years. And if over 40 years, that's 10 doubles. If you want to think of that, $1,000 becomes 2,000, becomes 4,000, becomes 8, 16, 32, 64. Oh, you see where I'm going. 128,000 after, or actually even 256,000 after 10 years of doing, or 40 years of doing that. And that's the first 1,000 you put in. And then you're going to, next month, you might do another 1,000. And then another 4 years from that date, that money doubles. So that's kind of how I look at my investing. And I'm not saying a deal that's doing 43, 40 is not possible. I'm just saying give it an extra dose of due diligence, because it is probably high risk or not for real, or they're just making their numbers up. I was just looking at a deal last week where it was clear to me they were just making up numbers, and just to make the numbers look good to an investor. And so that's kind of how I look at that. Do you have a way of how you look at your deals? Do you have rules that you have put in?
No, I need to get to that point. I do. I look at each one individually. I still don't have my system of processes. I'm not that
Mm,
experienced or that well refined. But I do look at the income on it. On we're talking about
mm,
mainly real estate right now, and what
yeah.
you're kind of moved over to. Uh, yeah, just depending on the outlook on the
Hmm.
deal, because I know you do mainly fix and flips, right?
I do fix and flips. That's active income. I have a different return ratio for active income because I'm actively involved with that. So
Okay.
uh, I'm always looking to on a flip, and I do flips within 4 to 6 months. And there's a risk that they could go longer, but there's also a possibility it could be shorter, and your holding costs on that could be a savings, or it could be more expensive. But on a flip, I'm looking to make every 4 months a 20% return. When you compound that out, 3 flips in a year on every 4 months, that's about a 70% return on your money, assuming that you keep cycling the same money. So active income is going to get a little bit better return, and it should be because you're involved. It's got to pay your salary and produce a return for the business.
Right.
So that's the way. But passively, if I'm going to give it to somebody else, like a syndication deal, or if I'm going to invest in a stock or something like that, I want to make sure that it's going to produce about 18.89 is the exact number that's going to give me that. And that's so sure. I don't have to think about it. I just want to put my money over here, forget about it, and let it double every 4 years.
Okay. Currently, is there any specific stocks that you're looking at that are doing that well?
Right now, as we were talking earlier, it's kind of funny. The market had a big sell-off today. Today is what is today's date? Today's the
17th.
17th of
Yeah.
October. It's also option expiration day. It's the third Friday of every month. The monthly options on most every stock expires. And
Mm.
usually a lot of volatility on a day like this. The prices are all over the place as people are trying to settle on a price before their options expire. Uh, but but there's other things going on. Right now, companies that I'm looking at, and if someone is really interested in buying stocks, some sectors to consider is the defense sector. The reason I like the defense sector is I don't know if you've been, I don't know much about the big beautiful bill you've read, and Trump's budget for the defense sector is almost $1 trillion. And they've already said they want to build what's called a golden dome around the United States, which is similar to the Iron Dome in Israel, but it's a much more complex system because the United States is much larger land mass than Israel. So basically, it's a defense system of missiles and rockets and AI and all these other things. I guess drones. There's companies that do flying cars. I know a lot of people. Yeah, they exist. We could actually talk about some of these companies on another call. I know we don't have a lot of time on this one, but defense sector, I like the metals industry right now, which is base metals and precious metals like gold and silver. I like copper, aluminum, tin. Everything that is made in this country, well, not made in this country, but we purchase in this company is made from these base elements, these base metals, if you will. You can't buy an iPhone without rare earth minerals. You can't buy an iPhone without tungsten. These things are needed. Well, for the longest time, this country has shut down all production in this country and just shipped it out overseas. And you can see all the entire middle of the United States just decimated. There's just no jobs there. There's no industry anymore. It's all the money has moved to the coastal cities where all the finance people are, and that's basically where all the money is. But if this new president does it correctly and he gets jobs reimplanted back in the United States, those sectors will do well. And so far, I'm seeing movement. These companies are moving back in the United States. They've opened up the federal lands for mining, drilling oil. So you're going to see a lot more gold mines, cobalt mines, lithium mines, helium mines, helium-3, which is up in Minnesota. Minnesota, it's like $10,000 an ounce for that stuff for helium-3, and it's needed for everything. Even China, they've got a rover on the moon right now looking for helium-3 because it's expensive to get here. But up in Minnesota, they have gas coming up out of the ground, and they can pull 14% of that gas is actually helium, and a good portion of it's helium-3. So, hey, China, you don't have to go to the moon. Come straight to Minnesota to get your helium-3. It's not for blowing up balloons. Helium's needed for just about everything. But yeah, you're seeing a lot of resurgence of mining for all these different rare earth minerals, different base metals that are needed to make everything. And the other thing with the defense sector is he wants to improve the naval fleet, upgrade the fleet. That's going to be a lot of iron, steel, and a lot of rare earths because those boats require a lot of electronic systems. You need these things. Another area that I do like also is the medical field, specifically biotech, because I'm seeing a lot of inventions now with the new FDA approval process. It's a lot faster, and the FDA is now using artificial intelligence to review these studies, and they can get a lot through the I guess the trial studies a lot faster. What used to take 5-10 years, they're getting done in 5 to 6 months. So you're seeing things hit the market that have already been tested via AI, and that sector, there's a lot of treatments. I've seen some companies doing cancer research, breast cancer cures. I'm not talking, help band-aids for, treat the issues. I'm talking cures. You know, I've seen a drug that it just made it past phase 2, and it was for Alzheimer's, cure for this stuff. And one of them had efficacy that would actually slow it down significantly. And our new processes to get these drugs through is really sped up. So a lot of these biotech companies, I see that whole sector really rocketing over the next 10 years. And there's a lot of money to be made in biotech. And if you just want to buy the biotech general sector, XBI is the ticker symbol. If you just want to buy the biotech, you say you don't want to go research every little company and find out what the revenue is and what their cash burn is and all this stuff, where are they at in the phase process. You can just buy the ETF and you'll get the top names in the biotech sector. And there's other ETFs out there too. ETF is an electronic traded fund, which basically is a basket of stocks in a particular sector. Like the S&P 500 is a common one that most every trader knows, which is the 500 largest companies in the United States. And they're all inside of one basket. You could buy the whole U.S. economy under a ticker called SPY, or they call it the SPY, but it's basically the S&P 500, the 500 largest. But there's ETFs for all types of things: energy, finance, materials, industry, transportation. There's an ETF for everything. And yeah, so there are going to be times we can talk about any of those things in future episodes, or what I see going on in the markets. Oh, and real estate has a sector, but believe it or not, in the S&P 500, XLRE. That's one you could use. That tells you the sentiment investors have towards real estate.
What was the one for the bio again?
Biotech is XBI.
XBI. Okay.
Yeah. So
do you know if they're available with all different types of what are they called, like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, or?
Oh yeah, every broker. These how that works is your broker. The ticker symbol is pretty much owned by the company, that because they're going to sell their shares under that ticker symbol. Like Apple, for instance, is AAPL. NVIDIA is NVDA, and Microsoft is MSFT. And if you will go to your broker, it doesn't matter who your broker is, that ticker symbol is going to be the same at all brokers. Now, there are some things that have a little nuance, but that's still if you're tracking like commodities and stuff like that. Like if you're tracking actual physical gold price, like on Schwab, it's /MG, I think it is. And over on Fidelity, it's exclamation point .mg. So there's like little nuances like that. But for actual companies and most ETFs, which are the I guess the basket of stocks, that's a good way to call it. Those all have the same ticker at all brokers. So it doesn't matter what brokerage you're using, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade was bought by Schwab, never mind. Or if you're using like E-Trade or something like that. they're going to have the exact same tickers. There's no difference.
Excellent. Do you know which one you're using now? If they have a referral code that you can share for people to join?
Oh, Charles Schwab. I use Charles Schwab for I think all my accounts. Yeah. Charles Schwab is what I use for all trading.
Yeah. Check out to see if they have like a referral. If they do, you send it to me and I'll make sure it's in the description below.
Cool. Yeah. I don't know that they do because they're one of the largest brokers. I don't think they need me. They get everyone's money.
Right. This is for entertainment purposes. We're not financial advisors. This isn't any legal advice. You need to verify with somebody else that's not us. We're giving you what
anyone that's not us.
We're going through it. And then
they'll have their own. They'll have their own podcast. We ain't Allen and Edgar.
Yeah, so when you are investing, make sure it has dividends. The reason you want to have dividends is because that'll guarantee that you're going to get money every quarter, every year, depending how they do it, instead of it just fluctuating up and down. Every dividend, they give you a little piece of the pie that you can either reinvest to them or take out at that time. Our opinion is to reinvest it because you'll grow it that way and you're going to not put out those taxes at the end of the year.
Yep. Definitely want to reinvest dividends. It is a tax savings. So as long as you're reinvesting them into the company that delivered them to you. But if you take the dividends and just let them sit in your account, there's a tax on it. Gosh darn those feds. Oh, by the way, the official name, I gave the IRS a new name. It's no longer the Internal Revenue System. It's the Imperial Revenue System.
Imperial Revenue System.
The Imperial Revenue System.
And for the entrepreneurs out there, your silent partners, Uncle Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They are your partner, whether you like it or not. It's more of a shakedown, but they're partners.
Yep. Excellent. Hey, thank you for this episode. Hey, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. It's free, and make sure you got notifications on so you can see the next episode where Alan shares us more of his 7 rules of wealth. Thanks, Alan.
7 commandments.
7 commandments of wealth.
7 commandments. I've renamed them, man.
I like it. And earlier we changed one of them to profit over excuses.
Yeah. And you have to forgive the headset because I'm hard of hearing and these help out huge.
Yeah, but your audio is great here, right? Give us a thumbs up. Yeah. Drop a comment if you like this audio, if you want them without the headphones.
Oh, don't do that. I'll get thumbs down all day long don't be mean to me.
Nah, they won't be. All right. We'll see you in the next episode.
All right. Thanks, Edgar.
Catch this next podcast where you can start your dreams and start to own your time the way these other guests have.